Hello everyone and welcome to today's video where today I will be going through my predictions for the new Premier League season. I will be trying to predict where each of the teams are going to finish and the reason as to why I think they're going to finish where they are. So without further ado, let's see what my wildest predictions are going to be for this new Premier League season. In 20th place, I have gone with Ipswich. I mean, the last time that they were in the Premier League, they were fighting relegation throughout the majority of it. They didn't really do as well, and honestly, looking at how they might do, I don't really have that much hope for them. In 19th place, I have gone for Hull. Again, another team that seems to get promoted and then they find a way to get relegated once again. And looking at the squad, I don't really see how they will stay up. But again, another promoted team is just going to get relegated, I feel, and finishing in 19th. In 18th place, I have gone with Coventry. Now, this does mean that all of the promoted teams, in my opinion, will get relegated. Whilst it's really good to see Coventry back in the Premier League, I just don't really have that much hope for all of them. And Coventry will probably do a little bit better. And I think as well, their fixtures get better after like the third week of the Premier League season. So they might have a little bit more luck. But in all honesty, they're all going to get relegated. Simple as that. 17th place, I have gone for Fulham. They've got a new manager in Arbeloa, but I don't really have that much faith in Arbeloa. Arbeloa, when he took charge of Real Madrid, it really was not great for them at all, and he didn't really live up to the expectations of helping them out. Yes, there's different expectations when you're at Real Madrid and Fulham, but I just don't have that much faith, and I feel like they might struggle a bit more. 16th place, I've gone for Leeds. They will also struggle with relegation, no doubt about that. But I feel like some of the signings that they have been making, I feel like will improve them a little bit more. And I feel like they'll have a better time. And I think given the experience of fighting relegation compared to the other sides that they have to go up against, I feel like they're going to be better off. And from that, I think they'll do quite well in the league and avoid relegation. 15th place, I have gone for Sunderland. Now, given that they have got European football to deal with, and as well, I think a lot of teams probably would have sussed them out as to how they play with their tactics and playing football in general. I think they might struggle a little bit more. They've probably got the squad depth to get better and cope with European football and dealing with more games, but I feel like they might go down the table a little bit more. Not necessarily going into a relegation battle, but they probably will struggle to get into the top 10 given the amount of competition that there is. In 14th place, I've gone for Nottingham Forest. Now, they have got a very good manager in Oliver Glasner, and I'm sure as well the way that they're going to play football will be similar to how he played when he was at Palace. But it might take a little bit of time with the players that they've got. Again, they're not going to struggle with relegation as such, but they will struggle to get into like the top 10 because of the other teams that I think will do better than them. 13th place, I've gone for Bournemouth. Again, I think they've got European football as well, and they've got a new manager as well. I'm not 100% convinced on him. And with the fact as well they'll have to deal with more games as well, it might be a bit of a struggle this season. And I say they've got a really, really tough run of fixtures for like the first 8 game weeks, I believe. After that, might be a different story, but from that, we will just have to wait and see if they do any better or if they go into the position that I think they'll be in. In 12th place, I've gone for Crystal Palace. Now, they have lost Lacroix to Chelsea, so the heart of their defence has been depleted these past couple of months with Mark Gay going to Man City as well, but they still seem pretty solid at the back, and they've got good players going forward as well, and the midfield is pretty solid too. Whether they can get into the top 10, I'm not 100% sure, so that's why I've put them in 12th, and maybe they go on another cup run throughout their season. narrowly missing out on the top 10, and in 11th I've gone for Everton. I think with the fact that the squad hasn't changed too much, and as well with David Moyes going into the final year of his deal, is that going to play on his mind and maybe he'll want to move elsewhere and maybe not be at Everton for a long time? Who knows? But for me, I think 11th is suited and a pretty solid finish for them. In 10th place, I've gone for Newcastle. Now, the fact that they lost Sandro Tonali, Anthony Gordon, and as of today as well, they will be losing Bruno Guimaraes because of a £75 million deal agreed with Arsenal. And as well, Eddie Howe left as well recently. Can you really blame Newcastle if they finish lower? Probably not. But they have made good signings to replace those players. Whether they'll adapt well to the Premier League, I'm not 100% sure. And as well, I don't really know too much about their new manager as well, except that he's been in the Saudi League and I think for Salzburg as well. But other than that, I can't really think of any other reason as to why they would finish higher. If they can keep any of the players that they've got and don't lose anyone else, God forbid on that, they will finish in the top half. But if they keep losing their best players, then they're going to fall further down the pecking order. And as well, the fact that they've not got European football as well and they can just focus on the league, I think that will be better off for them. 9th place, I've gone for Brighton. Again, they've been pretty solid over the past few years, and especially last season as well with Fabian Hürzeler in charge as well. I just feel like they're going to do relatively okay. So, yeah, I think that will be the case. In 8th place, I've gone for Brentford. Now, given that a lot of people probably thought that they were going to get relegated last season, and they didn't, surprisingly, I feel like they'll have another solid season again. I can't think of any reason as to why they would fall down the pecking order in terms of positioning, and as well made some good signings to keep things balanced. I don't think Igor Thiago is going to have a brilliant season like he did last season. I think he'll probably get like half the amount of goals that he scored last season. So we'll have to see, but I think they'll be pretty solid. And as I say, the defence is pretty good as well. So yeah, I've got them to finish here. 7th place, I have gone for Tottenham. Now, surely they can't finish 17th again. Past 2 seasons they've done that and they've been awful. But with Roberto De Zerbi in charge, and how good they started to look at the end of last season, and the signings that they've made as well, and spending big on certain players like Tonali, Van Heck, Fernandes of West Ham, even though I don't really see how these players are costing that much. But yeah, they've spent big, got a couple of free agents in for some experience, and I think they'll look a lot better. They might actually go for like a top 4 finish, but I just can't see them doing that. So I think 7th is solid, and I think as well that would probably get them like Europa League or the Conference League. And I think from the past 2 seasons that they've had, going to that and finishing 7th, I think that would be pretty good for them. 6th place, I've gone for Aston Villa. Given that they just can't get a balance of like keeping their best players because they are on massive wages and they're having to sell in order to buy. Losing Tielemans and Morgan Rogers is not great at all. And whilst they are probably making good signings still, is that going to hinder them? Plus Champions League, are they going to cope with that? I don't know. But yeah, I've got them to finish in 6th place. 5th place, I've gone for Man United. The hype of Michael Carrick coming in, I think, is going to die out. I think people are going to find out how to play against Man United, and whilst they might do well in certain aspects, there's going to be a lot of teams that figure them out and they're not going to get a result from. They've slightly improved their midfield, but is that going to be enough, especially with Champions League football? It's hard to see right now, but yeah, I think they just narrowly miss out on Champions League football. 4th place, I've gone for Liverpool. Now, given that they got rid of Arne Slot last season and they brought in Iraola, I think that's a better manager to have in rather than Arne Slot. I think the way they're going to play football is going to be better and more exciting for Liverpool, so they'll be a little bit more of a threat this season. But I just think the squad depth, there's still a lot more that they need to do, and I think that's really going to hinder them, especially if they wanted to go for like the league title, for example. I think they're just going to fall short, and there's going to be quality from other teams that stands out more, and they might get found out. And especially as well with European football as well, they're going to have to rely so much on all of their players, and if their squad is not the biggest, then I think they might struggle a little bit more and it will catch up with them. In third place, I have gone for Chelsea. Now, given how awful they were under Liam Rossini, surely that can't continue. I think with the fact that they got Xabi Alonso in, who is a way better manager than Liam Rossini, and the fact that they got in Morgan Rogers, they got Lacroix in, they look more solid. They also signed Jordan Henderson and Danny Welbeck, which I guess they finally have experience in their team. That might actually help out a bit more, especially with how young the squad is for Chelsea. And the fact as well that they won't have European football to deal with. So, in that regard, playing week in, week out, they're going to do a whole lot better. May go on some cup runs. And I think it will be a pretty solid season. Whether they go for the title or not, I think it might be a little bit too far for them. But why not? And I think finishing third will be very, very solid for them. In second place, and a bit of a shock if you know the kind of person that I am going for Man City. I know, shock, horror. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. But given that Pep Guardiola is no longer at the club anymore, and we now have Enzo Maresca, I am excited for the new season, don't get me wrong, because new manager, new style of play, see how the players react and see how we get on. It's hard to say because I don't want us to be like expecting the league title immediately, because that is very high expectations and high pressure to put on Enzo Maresca immediately. We just have to try and go for the title, and if it happens, amazing, and we go on cup runs, because that would be fantastic as well. But yeah, I think we're keeping a lot of the nucleus of players that we've had in. Obviously we've had Stones, Bernardo Silva, Nathan Ake ended up leaving at the end of last season. But when you look at like the squad that we've got, the backups that we've got as well, I think we'll be pretty solid. And yeah, I think second will be good. I think a lot of people will probably expect us to win the title, but against who I'm going to talk about next is going to be very hard. And in first place, I have gone for Arsenal. Like, they have been the best team last season. Their defence is just unreal. Like, you can't get past them a lot of the time. The amount of clean sheets that they keep, they'll continue on with that. I think Saka will be a better player than what he was last season because of all the injuries. And they've got good depth, especially now that they're going to be getting Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle as well. And I think their midfield is going to look way more solid. They'll be able to rotate, keep everyone fresh. There's part of me that thinks that they won't get the title as easily because they've got that first one. What is their mentality going to be like? Will that continue? I'm not 100% sure, but they are the better team in the Premier League right now. And whilst the manager depth in the Premier League isn't as exciting and that anyone could really win the title, it's going to be an interesting one. So I think Arsenal will win the title, unfortunately. So there we have it. That is my predictions for the Premier League season and where everyone is going to finish. I feel like I've gone pretty basic. I don't think there's been many shocks from what I've put down on my predictions. We'll have to wait and see and come back to it at the end of the season and see how bad my predictions are, because I feel like I'm going to get them horribly wrong and something is going to happen where a major shock occurs. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, that is where I'm going to end today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, then be sure to give the video a like, and I will see you soon with another video. Until then, peace!